Alrighty. So thank you everybody who is joining me live or catching the replay, and welcome to the Science of Intuition. Before we get into some very, very juicy content, I want to open this space with an acknowledgement, starting by acknowledging who I am and where I come from with my pepiha. Ko waio, te taha o te whaia. Ko tainui te waka. Ko pukihikio o te tui o me marama ngā maunga. Ko mangapu te awa. Ko Ngāti kino hapu te hapu. Ko Ngāti maniapoto te iwi. Ko te waipa toto ki Oparura te marae. Ko te tui o te o marama te wharekai. Ko wetere tahi rawa ko Tiria Ekatoni oku matua. Ko Chris West rawa Teresa Tahi oku matua. Ko Kia West, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou. And I would like to further this acknowledgement by paying my respect to the traditional custodians of where I am sharing from today, which is the Yugambeh people. And I pay my honour to the elders past, present and emerging. And I would like to conclude this acknowledgement by paying my respects to my teaching lineage, formal, informal, local and non-local, and everyone who has contributed to me being able to transfer this knowledge with you today. And the way that I would like to open us to be able to receive this information today is by taking you through a brief guided visualization called the Golden Light Visualization. So you will experience this golden light in your own unique way. The words will open you to opportunities that will connect you with the light of the golden light, and I invite you to enjoy your own mystical experience as we take this journey together. The golden light can feel magical. So before I ask you to close down your eyes, if you are not familiar with tapping, I will give you a quick rundown and just follow along as we do this process, as I will be guiding you throughout this visualization. So we have the side of hand tapping point here. We have the eyebrow point. And just doing this along with me, we have the side of eye point, the under eye, under nose, the chin, collarbone, underarm, where the bra strap is, and the top of the head. And so throughout this short visualization, I will guide you where to tap and ask that you repeat after me. So closing down your eyes now and begin to deepen your breath, bring consciousness to your breath by focusing on your inhale, breathing in through the nose, filling your belly as much as possible, and then letting it all go out through the mouth with an audible sigh. And again, 2 to 3 more times in your own time, allowing your breath to anchor you into this everlasting present moment. The world outside is packed away just for these next few minutes. Begin tapping on the side of your hand and repeat after me. I choose to feel relaxed and quiet. All of me. My breathing is easy. A mist of golden light surrounds me, nurturing me, softly, gently, tapping on the eyebrow point now. My heart center softens as the golden light flows in, sparkling and radiant, tapping on the side of I. I am unlimited. Golden light showers over me. It flows through me. I merge with the golden light, tapping under the eye. I can create miracles. I am the architect of my life, rebuilding, rejuvenating, merging with the golden light. Under nose. In this sacred space that I am, I choose love. I sense my innocence, my purity. Golden light illuminates every cell. The chin. Immersed in golden light, I am nurtured, loved, and whole. I am blessed. Collarbone point. I am a divine gift to planet Earth. I surrender into the perfect love of the golden light. Underarm. I can create a magical life. I can choose joy to color my life. Top of head. I choose love and joy to color my thoughts, words, and deeds as I breathe into the golden light. Gently lowering your hand to your lap now, feeling that beautiful frequency of the golden light holding you, wrapping you in its embrace. Taking in a deep breath of that golden light now and letting it all go out through the mouth with an audible sigh. Bring some gentle movement back to your fingers and your toes. And when you are ready, blink open your eyes. Beautiful, soft, supple, agile, ready to absorb the science of intuition. So I just want to open with some housekeeping, making sure you have some water. We are here not to do a in-the-box way of learning and teaching. We are here to learn through our vibration. And that requires us to stay hydrated in order for us to keep that energy, that vibration flowing and moving. Making sure if you were able to print it off and it wasn't too tedious, that you have your workbook. I do apologize for the original link that went out, and I was made aware this evening that it wasn't that practical to print off. So again, if you were able to go that extra mile and have it printed and filled out, amazing. Thank you. I love your commitment to receiving this. If not, and you were able, you haven't been able to print it yet, that is okay. I'm totally okay with imperfect action from here. But just a little bit of an intro to it. If you are somebody who has signed in and registered for this on the later half of this week, this workbook was sent out at the start of the week, and it has been created based off of scientifically researched methods that enable us to apply and integrate information at a higher capacity. So it has a bit of a layout that gives you the opportunity to first identify what it is that you have within you, that these preconceived ideas that you might have about this topic that we are going to be learning. But today it is the science of intuition. And then it also gives you the opportunity to allow that information to percolate during the course of this our time together, as well as giving you the space at the end of this process to reflect and consider how your prior knowledge may have shifted throughout our time together. So have that handy if you can. If you are watching on the recording, now would be the perfect time for you to go and print that if you haven't already. And of course, having a pen, you can absolutely write down any questions that you might have throughout this course inside of this workbook, as well as if you aren't familiar with adult learning, what an amazing way for you to immerse yourself into this and allow this processing to begin is to jot down any notes of what you find interesting, what you find challenging, what you would like to learn more of, and that's a really good way to get these neurons firing in your brain. So a reminder also, coming with an empty cup. You may have been studying this your whole entire lifetime or lifetimes, but I just ask that whatever it is that you have already, whatever insight you already have, to leave it at the door now or inside the designated spaces within this workbook, and open yourselves to what is going to be transpired today. I do just want to mention, as well as part of this housekeeping, I have had some technical issues with my laptop where my audio has come through and I have sounded like I'm channeling Satan. So if that occurs, please know that you are very safe. It is entirely a technical issue. I have got this pretty cool, nifty little microphone that hopefully will keep Satan at bay, at least for the next, hour or so that we are together. But if that does happen, you are now primed to not be afraid. So we are going to just quickly review previous teachings. Now, this is a rather artificial lesson because it is, in fact, part of an assessment for me to be able to qualify to teach this lesson within an 8-module program. So part of this actually is the second lesson inside of that 8-module program. And in the module that comes prior to this, we discuss the conversation of intuition. We begin changing the conversation of intuition and what that is by discussing the different kinds of intuition. By that we explore the local intuition, the kinds of local intuition, and the non-local kinds of intuition. And so local, just to refresh, local being the intuition, that information that we have access to within our local proximity. It is that energetic sensitivity that you will see everywhere through the age of the empath, where we can walk into a room and we can feel if somebody is has thrown off some bad vibes. That belongs within our local intuition, within our biological, physiological intuition. But what we are going to be exploring in much more detail inside of this whole 8-module program, but specifically today, is our non-local intuition, which is the information that we have available to us at all times that is not bound by time and space. And we will talk a lot more about this throughout the science today. So bear with me, I am just going to get really technical and share my screen with you now. I have prepared some really cool slides because I, for one, am very much a visual learner. So I want to really cover as many bases as I can when it comes to sharing this information. All right, well, how do we go? There we go. Cool. So, excuse me while I have a drink of water. So, we are here to explore the science of intuition. And the key teaching points that we are going to be looking at today is peer-reviewed, evidence-based science that demonstrates our very existence has been primed for us to be highly intuitive, locally and non-locally. Over the centuries, the accumulated knowledge of scientists has been assembled into a hierarchical construction resembling a multi-tiered building. The foundation for the science building is maths on the bottom level being that it is the absolute first building block of the sciences, and which it then, it moves into then the second level, which is physics and all of the sciences belonging to physics, then moving into the third level, which is chemistry, the fourth level, biology, fifth level, psychology. Now, mainstream sciences have based the construction of this, of the building blocks of sciences using reductionism. And we will talk a little bit more about that momentarily. New noetic sciences have reconstructed these levels by holism. Again, we will briefly explore these together shortly. So though there is a large amount of science now available, the main elements that we are focusing on are the interconnectedness of all consciousness and the heart-brain, which belong primarily in the second floor, but in the second floor. But as the nature of quantum theory that we will be exploring today, they belong within all levels of this science building. So we will also take a little peek at the end of this lesson together in the first floor with the foundations of maths and the chaos theory. At the end of the transfer of this profound knowledge, you will be given the opportunity to ask any questions that arise before going into a praxis, because knowledge alone is simply not enough for you to be able to integrate this information. It does require you to have an embodied experience where you actually get to feel what it is that we are discussing today. And then at the end, we'll have a little chat about the 12-week program that this 8-module lesson is a part of, and how it is that you can qualify to enroll for that. So before we move into the heavy sciences that are due for this session, I want to share with you a little bit about myself. And I am a teacher of cosmic visibility, and I'm teaching this lesson is part of the program that I am calling Initiate Your Cosmic Visibility. I stand for living with intention to create a world that embraces change. And I want to share with you an event in my life that put me on this trajectory to be taking this stance in this world at this time. So I was on the bathroom floor, crying, surrounded by every box of drugs that I could find in the house. I had just been beat up by my boyfriend for finding out that he had slept with my best friend. and my world was spinning internally, externally, and my eyes, when they began to become heavy, I started to pray, and I asked God, begged God, please just let me die or save me. Either way, I can't keep living like this, God. Something's got to change. So the next morning, when I woke up on the bathroom floor, covered in my own vomit, the first thing I thought was, okay, so God's not done punishing me yet. There's still more torture to come. Instead, I found out I was pregnant. And the second the doctor told me that it was a positive test, the memory of me being on the bathroom floor praying to God was immediately visible in my mind. I was looking down at myself. I was begging to God to either kill me or save me. I can't keep living like this, God. Something's got to change. And it was in that instant that I realized that I had been given an opportunity to change. And so I quit taking drugs. I was a huge party girl at that stage. And the second that I found out that I was pregnant, I stopped taking everything, as I did not want my child to grow up in drug addiction, alcohol abuse, and domestic violence. I changed my circle of friends because I realized when I was trying to not be here on this world that they obviously didn't give a shit about me. And I decided to educate myself. I went to TAFE to learn a diploma of beauty, and I started to read a lot. And this is a pattern that is not an isolated event. As much as I would love to say, I haven't been in a heap on the bathroom floor ever since. In fact, to this day, it is something that I still find myself in. What I have come to learn is it's those moments when I am on that damn bathroom floor, wondering if it might just be easier to not be here anymore, that I am on the brink of change and that I am being gifted an opportunity for change. This is cosmic visibility for me and is backed by sciences that we will explore today. And I'm so passionate about living and as a demonstration and example of what coming into acceptance of this as our nature can create within this world. So let's get into the science. The first element of the science of intuition that we will explore has been taught for thousands of years through intersections of ancient teachings by the Egyptians, the Dogons, in the Kabbalah, and Vedic teachings. Sciences began to catch up roughly 100 years ago, although these concepts have been inside literatures for hundreds of years. The reasons why we are not formally taught this science is largely based on the reliance on what cannot be completely understood, that mainstream science systems are challenged to reconcile. They are based on reductionism, which is the process of taking apart matter and studying its bits and pieces in isolation and separation. This is done in an attempt to predict and control nature, which is a notion contained within determinism, the belief that with the knowledge of something's parts, we can predict its behavior. Renowned scientist Bruce Lipton says, the science has been groundbreaking, with accomplishments such as flying to the moon and transplanting artificial hearts, etc. Though it is also responsible for the global problems that we have today. Consider the impact that industrialization has had, where we have pulled apart our environment, pulled apart Mother Nature in order to make way for roads and constructions of buildings so that we can live and learn and work in, as an example. In contrast to reductionism is the new noetic science that is based on holism, the belief that an understanding of nature requires that we transcend the need to separate parts and to observe reality from the whole. This is the quantum reality of our universe. I really love this quote by historian Arnold Toynbee. The cultural, which includes the scientific mainstream, inevitably clings to fixed ideas and rigid patterns in the face of imposing challenges. And yet, among their ranks arise creative minorities that resolve the threatening challenges with more viable responses. Creative minorities are active agents that transform old, outdated philosophical truths into new, life-sustaining cultural beliefs. The notion of us expanding with this information today is transcendence of separation in action and an opportunity for us to meet with global chaos and begin to open to change. It is us standing as creative agents, actively transforming the old and creating life-sustainable potentials. I am so here for that. How about you? So quantum physics tell us that we are pure consciousness, pure energy, pure wave, which is the basis of what the whole universe is, as told throughout that second floor of the science apartments. It is by this energy that we are interconnected. Our intuitive intelligence is based on this inherent interconnectedness of all consciousness, and it is with focused intention and attention that we can attune to this infinite field of consciousness. That throughout this teaching, I will refer to as the quantum field or the one mind. I'm going to take that as a need for some water. How's everybody feeling? I am excited. Are you? All right. So it's our biology that is the technology that connects us to this quantum field. And we will explore this in a little more detail through the interception between ancient civilizations and quantum sciences, where we will bring into the conversation the nature of the universe being much like the nature of a holographic image, as well as the function of the torus field, which is what we are here to discuss today. So, we produce electromagnetic fields, which are made up of vibrating particles. These particles vibrate at a certain frequency and are governed by our filling state. The frequency is the number of times that a particle passes a certain point in its cyclic motion, which we will see more clearly as we explore the torus field soon. We are able to alter the frequency of these particles when we change our feeling state. In other words, when we change our minds about ourselves. So when we are feeling emotions such as anxiety, anger, when we're afraid or stressed, the frequency that our vibration is functioning at is much slower and therefore heavier and denser, which creates static when we are trying to connect in with that our intuitive intelligence to that quantum field. When we are holding emotions, when we are feeling emotions such as gratitude, compassion, freedom, and joy, the vibrating particles within our electromagnetic field are in motion at a much higher frequency, which in turn returns the particles to their natural state, which, remember, is wave. More on this shortly. It is when we are in a higher frequency that we have a greater capacity to connect into the one mind through our local intuition. Greg Braden says, the bottom line is we are bathed in a field of energy that's everywhere, always present, and one that existed since time began with the Big Bang Theory. He goes on to state that because everything exists within a matrix of energy, everything is connected. It is this connection that makes deep states of intuition possible. So, the quantum definition of non-locality is that there is communication occurring between particles that are not dependent on prior relationships or proximity. Laird Scranton describes it in this way. Think about distance. If it took no time for me to be here in sunny Queensland to then travel to Melbourne, distance distance wouldn't matter, as I could travel from A to B instantly. As you begin to impart particles into something, things begin to slow down. So then it takes time to travel from A to B. And now time and space have been given meaning and significance. Now, I have a really itchy nose, sorry. This is really just allow yourself to grapple that for a moment, because every time I consider it, my mind just explodes a little bit more. So when it exists within that field where everything exists, there is no meaning, there is no significance. It is meaningless. It is the actual act of imparting it into physical. It is, just as much as we have been imparted in this moment as a physical being, it is our physical matter-filled being that is given time, is given meaning and significance. If we were not in this physical experience, if we were not slowed down enough to be embodying some form of matter, we would be meaningless. And that for me is just so rich. So allow that to enter in wherever you are at. And I hope that it continues to unfold within you as it does for me. So we experience time locally, much like a cassette player. And if we want to listen to a song 3/4 of the way through, we have to wait for it to get to that place in the cassette. Our non-local time is much more like a CD, where we can skip to the song that we like to think of. I actually consider our non-local reality more like a USB drive, which has a number of folders of different music organized into different genres, and we can work our way through those that drive to be able to select the song that we want to listen to. This is a perfect description for us to understand the functioning of our local and physical reality, which has significance and meaning, and our non-local and energetic universe, which has no meaning. This, in our next lesson within this program, we begin to explore this on a more deeper level to better understand how we take something that is pure energy and impart it into matter. And we will be exploring that through the law of mentalism. So the second element of our exploration today is the powerful heart brain we have, is the powerful brain we have within our heart. Not a metaphorical heart, but our anatomical heart. It is the heart brain that is attuning us to the quantum field through its electromagnetic field. How's everybody feeling? Making sure you keep hydrated. So the heart brain is made up of 40,000 concentrated neural cells, which creates the largest electromagnetic field than any other organ in the body. The electrical signal produced by the heart is 100 times greater than any other organ in the body because of its electrical conductivity. Our biology is primed at this center to attune our connection to the quantum field that contains all information at all time. To help you better understand your capacity to connect with that field, we are now going to begin to unpack this torus field. And this shape is how we understand the movement of vibrating particles. It is from this movement where the frequency of the vibrating particle is moving in and out constantly in the motion that is shaped like this torus field, as you can see on the screen here. And the vibration of this particle occurs because at the subatomic level, there isn't a particle at all, and it is, in fact, in its natural pure wave form. So every single subatomic particle, every single cell in your body, your entire physical body, the entire universe produces an electromagnetic field. that is embodied by this torus field. Everything has this same energetic signature. This is the nature of our universe. This is us being fields within fields, within fields, within fields. The nature of our universe can also be described by the holographic image. Though this belongs in relatively recent sciences over the last 100 years or so, when they've had the technology to be able to explore this deeper, ancient civilizations have taught this as a fundamental truth of our universal nature. Though they did not need advanced technology to validate it for them. The holographic nature of our universe is best understood through how the holograph works. So the whole holographic image is initially, it is a two-dimensional code. It is a two-dimensional formula, if you will. And it is then projected by light, which are made up of tiny little images of the whole. For example, when R2-D2 projects the image of Princess Leia, if you were to take one of the tiny little fractals of light, you would see the entire image of Princess Leia inside of that image. And every single fractal of light contains the whole image of Princess Leia. This is where the saying comes from, that the tiny part contains the whole. Laird Scranton speaks of it in this way. Reality exists as a wave and only becomes real to us, similar to if you are viewing something on television. If you don't turn the TV on, the images that would have been projected for you to be able to see them would stay in their wave form. We begin to understand now that through our nature being electromagnetic fields within electromagnetic fields, magnetic fields within fields within fields, this has also been demonstrated to us through the holographic nature, where the tiny image within the tiny image within the tiny image makes up the whole image. What this teaches us is that we are not separate from the one mind. In fact, we are the one mind. What I am transferring to you here is that when you are accessing your intuition, you are not going out there to access it, but within the universe that resides within the fields, within fields, within fields, within fields that make up your entire being, that make up the inherent interconnectedness of all consciousness. How's everybody doing? We are plodding along well. Is everyone's minds still here, or maybe they're all waveform by now? So it is our job, if we want to learn how to increase our intuition, to learn how to expand our electromagnetic, we need to learn how to expand our electromagnetic field via our feeling state. Remember that it is the feeling state that determines the frequency of the vibration of our field, which determines whether we are open and connected and expanded into the universal fields that make us, or if we have contracted and cluttered our field, we've become more dense, so we are heavier and aren't able to access that field as easily when we are holding those lower frequencies, such as stress, anxiety, and worry. And the way that we expand our field and open us to be able to connect to that field is by creating a coherent state between our heart brain and our cranial brain, which is also a coherence between our subconscious mind and our conscious mind, our energy and our physicality, our wave and our matter. And if you don't get where I'm going here, I'm describing our interconnected nature, of course. We create a coherent state between our divinity and our humanity by privileging our heart brain, our inherent intuitive intelligence, which again is by curating and cultivating that high frequency feeling state. So the function of our heart has been commonly taught to us through mainstream sciences, those rigid, fixed sciences, that its primary role is to operate as a pump, when in actual fact, it has been shown that much like everything else in the universe, our blood cells create a vortex of movement, which then creates its own momentum to move through the body. Only 5% of the heart's function is to contribute to the pumping of the blood around and through the body. Research conducted by the Heart Math Institute shows us that the function of the heart is to send information to the cranial brain, as well as the reverse, in fact, if not more. The heart brain is precognitive and accesses information prior to information being known through the dominant five senses, which are controlled by the cranial brain. This was demonstrated to us through further research of the Heart Math Institute that was done to measure the response times within the body. So they tested this by first priming their subjects by getting them into an expanded state through cultivating feeling states of compassion, freedom, joy. And once they had measured to expand into that quantum field where everything exists at all time, they had them hooked up to different measurement devices, EEG, ECG, heart rate, and heart variability monitors to be able to measure the response times. And they sat the subjects in front of a computer screen, which was programmed to randomly select images and flash images on the screen that would evoke either positive or negative emotions. So they would have images of cute, fluffy bunnies on one screen or in one moment, followed by, say, for example, images of war. And so these different types of images were randomly selected by the computer. So what the results showed was that the heart brain received information 6 seconds prior to any other system within the body. It received the information, then communicated that information to the brain, which then distributed that the responses through the different systems within the body, through the dominant five senses. What the results also demonstrated was that the heart brain was precognizant of the computer. So it was 6 seconds prior to the computer having randomly selected an image. The heart brain was attuned to the image that was going, or the emotion of what was going to show up on the screen. This study is what shows us that it is our heart that is the technology that connects us to the one mind. Let's take a closer look at the heart now, and we're going to explore the origin of the heart. What is incredibly fascinating about the origin of the heart is that where it actually evolves from is not conclusively known by any sciences. What is conclusively known is that the development of the heart is not part of the cell division process of the sperm and the egg. The cells that form the heart are not part of any of the conception process. In fact, at 17 days gestation, a cluster of cells emerge from somewhere within the mother's uterus, and they travel down. They make their migration down into the primitive cells that will evolve and develop into the throat, and they travel down to between the primitive cells that will evolve into the lungs, and this is where it stays for it to then develop and evolve into the heart. So this is done, and it is a mystery among sciences, and is an exciting intersection of our mystical and human nature. So let's fast forward now on the biological clock to a fully formed heart within a fully developed human who is attuned to the power of their heart, either cognitively or not. It makes no difference. And they are making repeat success in their life as an entrepreneur. Heart Math's Raymond Bradley paired with the Australian Graduate School of Entrepreneurship to experiment with how it is that this might be occurring for some entrepreneurs and not for others. He explains the action of non-local intuition or intuitive intelligence in the following way. The research results explain how the entrepreneur's passionately focused attention directed to an object of interest, say, for example, a business venture, attunes the bioemotional energy or the feeling state generated by the body's psychophysiological systems, the coherence between the heart brain and the cranial brain, to a domain of quantum holographical information, to that quantum field, to the one mind, where all information is contained and energetically encoded. So what that means is that when we focus our feeling state and our coherence between heart brain and cranial brain, we are connecting in with the world beyond our physical senses. And this is, in this instance, has been referred to as quantum holographic information. In the context of non-entrepreneurial lifestyles, where we can all apply what has been tested in this theory, is heart-centered living. So to live guided by our heart means attuning to the intelligence of the heart brain and then actioning it. It's meaningless if we are receiving our intuition, which, by the way, we always are. But if we aren't actioning it, it's just fluff. So we are here today to move beyond receiving our intuition and to actually trust in taking action on what it is that our heart is guiding us to do. The HeartMath's extensive research gives us phenomenal peer-reviewed scientific evidence on how we can increase our intuitive intelligence. And it all stems down to cultivating a high frequency vibration and training ourselves to curate this feeling state and increasing duration and frequency during our lives in order for us to strengthen our connection, that muscle, that intuitive muscle, to and access to the one mind, and truly embody our intuitive intelligence. The HeartMath's research is groundbreaking in its development, especially in this day and age, which heavily relies on proof and validation for belief. It is a huge step forwards in our evolution that evidently is taking us a step backwards to ancient times when civilizations lived this innately without needing science to validate to them that what their heart was revealing to them is the truth. This is an emerging union of ancient, modern, and future evolution, which is so exciting to be here with you today and exploring what this means for you. So I'm just going to stop sharing for the moment and allow anybody to, if you have some questions that you would like answered, please shoot them to me now. Oh, we're doing good for time. There's no pressure. If there is no questions, you absolutely please send them through to me as they evolve and as they come through. If there are no questions, I am happy to continue on. How's everybody going? Amazing. All right. Going to pop back to my share screen. Wait a minute, where do I do that? Share screen. Here we go. There we go. Coolio. So the heart, before we've done that. Thank you. So we are going to move into a potent practice now that was developed by HeartMath as a tool that we can use to strengthen our intuitive intelligence by cultivating and curating a high frequency vibration or feeling state. HeartMath's research has shown that just 3 minutes of heart coherence produces 6 hours of optimal functioning in the systems of the body. It is a practice that I recommend you awaken to your day with, and practice multiple times during the day. When you feel stressed, anxious, angry, overwhelmed, frustrated, this tool is a superpower to have in your tool belt to support you in shifting from that closed, contracted, heavy feeling state where your electromagnetic field is completely contracted like this, and returning to your true nature, which is expansive and wave. It is through this practice that we increase our intuitive muscle and embody our intuitive intelligence. So let's move into the practice now. So I invite you to close down your eyes. And we are going to begin to soften with conscious breathing. Breathing in through the nose, filling your belly as much as possible, and letting it all go out through the mouth with an audible sigh. You may like to keep an extended breath, drawing in for 4 counts and exhaling for 6 counts. Even the act of placing your attention on your breath activates your parasympathetic nervous system, allowing you to soften, unwind, and unravel any restriction and constriction within your electromagnetic field. See, hear, feel, or imagine your breath now coming in through your heart and out through your heart. And place 2 fingers or the palm of your hand to the center of your chest. With your eyes closed and your breath deepened, we signify to the nervous system that it is safe to be here. And with this physical touch at the space of your heart, we signify that we are attuning to this space now, the intelligence of this heart, the most powerful cluster of cells that produces the most powerful electromagnetic field. Bring to mind thoughts, memories, or experiences that evoke gratitude, compassion, freedom, or joy. You may experience these feeling states in an infinite number of ways. You may be taken to an event that has occurred within the last 24 hours that evoked these feeling states highly within you. Or you may experience these feeling states as scenes from a movie of your life playing back for you to enjoy them, revisit them as you cultivate these feeling states. Give yourself over to this feeling state, seeing, hearing, feeling, or just knowing that electromagnetic field of your heart is expanding effortlessly as you train yourself to expand into this state of coherence. Melt into this feeling state. You may even notice that you can feel through your non-local intuition the action of your particles vibrating at such a high frequency. Notice right now exactly how this experience is unfolding for you. As we hold this feeling state, this high frequency vibration, we are connecting to the quantum field, to the one mind, where all things exist in this time and space. This is your true nature. Taking in a deep breath in now, letting it all go out through the mouth, gently lowering your hand to your lap. And when you are ready, open your eyes. And again, this is a practice that I would recommend you do every single day, multiple times a day. This is the push-ups, if you will, of increasing our intuition and strengthening our intuitive muscle. So I want you to take a moment now to consider what your biggest takeout or takeaway has been from our time together so far. We do have a little bit more to go before we finish up, but that has been the bulk of the science of intuition. We will in just a moment be going into some new content that has evolved since the last week's attempt at this webinar. And I'm very excited to share it with you. So if you want to take a moment to make some notes of how you have enjoyed from this. Oh, hello, Talia. And yeah, if feel free to write them in the chat box if you like. And Talia is having some issues with technology, it seems. Hello again, glorious woman from a second non-local area, perhaps another device. So adjust if you have anything that was the biggest standout for you, pop it in. You loved all the slides. Cool. Thanks, Michelle. I thought it would be fun to experiment for the visual learners. Yeah, for me, when I was putting them together, I'm like, oh, yeah. Oh, awesome. Oh, it's beautiful to have you here. I've loved having your energy here, my glorious sister. All right, so let's go on to, I have a couple more slides to share with you all. So So, thank you all so much for being such an amazing presence here, learning the science of intuition. Let's go. We go. So we've done our praxis together now. Pop in the chat box as well. How how was your experience? Now I want to share with you an additional extract of science that isn't actually part of the original content, as it was something that dropped in earlier this week as I was immersing even deeper into this content, and it emerged through my own processing and development of this lesson. And it came into my consciousness with a big, juicy aha as to why I am here to teach cosmic visibility. So it belongs within that foundational floor level of the science apartment building, which belongs to the mathematics, being that the very first building block of science. It is, the mathematics is everything. That is just everything. And this is the chaos theory. Now, there is a complex mathematical equation that describes the functioning of chaos theory, but it is a little bit too complex even for my mind to really wrap my head around that yet. So we're not going to go into that today. Now, chaos theory, or non-linear dynamics, is a mathematical way of determining the effects of small changes on systems so complex they look random. At the center of chaos theory is the fascinating idea that order and chaos are not always diametrically opposed. Chaotic systems are an intimate mix of the two. From the outside, they display unpredictable and chaotic behavior, perhaps like showing up to teach the science of intuition with cosmic glitter. And at the center of but expose the inner workings, and you discover a perfectly deterministic set of equations ticking like clockwork. This is famously shown to us with the butterfly effect analogy, where the flutter of a butterfly's wings can be the cause for a formation of a hurricane on the other side of the world. And another way that we can see this butterfly effect is with a game of pool or billiards. So no matter how consistent you are with the first shot, the break, the smallest of differences in the speed and angle with which you strike the white ball will cause the pack of billiards to scatter in wildly different directions every time. The smallest of differences are producing large effects, the hallmark of a chaotic system. It is worth noting that the laws of physics determine how the billiard balls move are precise and unambiguous. They allow no room for true randomness. It is also worth noting that the laws of quantum physics tell us that the balls move in all directions at all times. What at first glance seems random because imperceptible changes are making all of the difference. We don't see that force of momentum used to hit the ball. We don't see even the slightest degree of variation at which angle the ball is hit will make a phenomenal amount of change in the outcome. We can see this phenomena embodied beautifully with dynamics, which is geometrical patterns formed by the vibration of sound. Up close, the fractals may look random, but when you zoom out on this whole image, you can see the grand design of the vibration in action. And the reverse is also to be true when you zoom out at the motion of the grains moving upon the speaker. It may look chaotic, but when you zoom into the formations of what is occurring, that it is a very complex mathematical formula. Understanding the nature of chaos theory and how this applies to our universal nature and quantum reality is very exciting to me. I feel so alive when I consider that the grand design what the grand design looks like, with us all joined here together in a seemingly random lesson on the science of intuition and the potential trajectories that this action may have on the bigger picture. I get so excited when I consider that this random lesson might be that moment on the bathroom floor that is opening to a potential for change. I get so excited when I consider that in this room, whether you are here live or catching the replay, stands the creative agents being activated to transform old philosophical truths into new life-sustaining opportunities. This science is how I show up with cosmic visibility as a demonstration for living a life with passionate intention and attention to create a world that embraces change. That goes beyond showing up with glitter, although that might seem random, but is perhaps very much a mathematical equation. We are at a peak time of chaos in the world where old systems of corruption are burning away to make way for transformation on a mass level. And this is the teaching graduating my life's work, mastering chaos and mastering change. So as I said at the start, this lesson is one out of an 8-module program that I will be launching in March 2021 called Initiate Your Cosmic Visibility. It runs for 12 weeks in an online delivery where the lessons will be delivered in a pre-recorded format for you to be able to watch, take notes, and use the workbook similar to the workbook that I've provided today. And then we will spend some time together in a live format where you are able to, we can have a conversation about the content to be able to help you to integrate and experience it at the highest capacity that you can. We will be getting further introduced to intuitive intelligence tapping, which is what we opened with the golden light visualization. And not so much as from a teaching component, but as a tool for us to be able to integrate and receive this information efficaciously. The content that we will be exploring in this program is the kinds of intuition, local and non-local. We will be diving into the 3 immutable laws that govern our reality, or 3 of the immutable laws that govern our reality. The law of mentalism, the law of correspondence, and the law of vibration. We will have a look at energetic protection. And for those of you who, like myself, do identify as a witch, we are going to debunk some myths about what is required when it comes to energetic protection to be working in the realm of energy. And I'm very excited to be teaching that. And then we will be diving into the nature of imagination and how that fits into our universal nature. In this program, we will be actioning and embracing and becoming masters of change by opening ourselves through the global chaos that surrounds us, but also the chaos that is within us. And for those of you who will come and sign up for my first round of the Initiate Your Cosmic Visibility, you'll get a bonus enrollment for Show Up Unlimited, which is a 3-month collection of daily videos to support you to create and curate a high frequency feeling state for you to actually be able to embody your intuitive intelligence and cosmic visibility. All right, we are almost there. So the way that there is only one way that you can access that program. There's only one way that you will be able to enroll into Initiate Your Cosmic Visibility, and that requires you to have a visibility method session with me. The reason for that is by having a visibility method session, we will already begin the process of meeting with the chaos, coming into acceptance of what that is within you. So we identify the root of that, and we alchemize that by bringing you into coherence on a subatomic level. Then we curate an action plan for you to be able to start taking action with your intuition, with your cosmic visibility. Now, this price of $197 is available for the next 4 people who book in. I have got a couple of people who are booking in over the weekend, so make sure you get in at this price, because once those 4 bookings have been taken, my prices are going up to $249. I am also November spots are limited now, as are December, so make sure you're booking in if you are keen to deepen into this teaching with me. So what can you do to take action now? We have, the workbook that you have is the first action that you can take. Again, I just want to reiterate that it has been designed off of peer-reviewed science to be able to support you to integrate with this information at the highest capacity. So work through the workbook, go through that process of opening, of dissecting and processing, and then reflecting. And rewatch the recording a couple of times if you need to, because this information will keep to evolve and unfold within you. I have been immersing into this for the last 18 months, and it's still profound every single time I deepen into it. It is ever evolving, as are we. So you will receive the recording, you can revisit that. I will also be sending out to you a audio file of a heart congruence practice, or a heart coherence practice. Heart congruence is the adaptation of the Institute for Intuitive Intelligence. And I have in your workbook, there is a whole entire page. In fact, there's 28 lines. So there's 28 spaces, 28 days for you to be able to practice heart congruence every single day. And I invite you to play with it, experiment with it. It is such profound. Someone's just chatting to me. Sorry. I don't know how to do that. I might just stop my share. How do we get the workbook, Talia? I will send that back to you. I will send that out tomorrow. I had sent it out in the email, a couple of emails, but I'll absolutely send it out as well. I might even just, yes, I will send that out tomorrow with the recording for you, my love. So yes, record every single day, at least once a day. Experiment with it, explore, treat it, you're a scientist now. You've just learned the science of intuition. So, set a hypothesis. What do you think will happen by doing this superpower tool every single day? And the way that you can use the notebook is, pop the date down. You could log or track how you felt afterwards. Was it a beautiful experience? Did you feel something physically? Did you visualize something? Or, you might find days where it's clunky and hard to do it, and you find yourself really distracted, and your cranial brain is just too attached to a particular feeling state that you aren't able to have the same experience as yesterday, when it was really soft and gentle and beautiful and expansive. So allow that page to really hold you into accountability and be a space for you to really experiment and explore with this as a tool. Now, the last page of the workbook is space for other downloads, other information that might come from the quantum field or from your physical field. It is, I hope you understand from our time learning together, that it is all the same. And so just, at the end of this our time together this evening, learning doesn't stop. We have opened and unlocked a channel of this really juicy reality that we are a part of, to begin to unravel even more in you. So, open yourself to continue to reflect on this information as it does so. if you have any questions, please send me an email. I would love to answer them. And if there is a number of questions that come from a number of you, then I will probably most likely put them in a video and send them out to answer them for you. I would also really appreciate any feedback. Let me know how this experience was for you, whether you are here live or catching the recording from the start of the process to the completion of the process. I would love to hear how this has shifted within you. And absolutely, if you genuinely really got something out of this process, if you feel like this has altered your reality in a minor or a magnificent way, please send me a review. I would love to be able to share that and use it with my marketing and to get myself out there as a teacher of cosmic visibility. And ultimately, what you can do, action now, is just open your heart as often as you can. Allow yourself and remember that you are electromagnetic fields, and the second that jumps into your mind, allow yourself to expand. Let that be a little prompt for you to be like, hey, I'm going to expand my electromagnetic field right now. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined me live or who will catch the recording. I have absolutely loved teaching this to you. I have loved so much that the the cosmos was like, I was having a little joke with Michelle before. I was like, I'm so ready for this. I'm wondering if I need some cosmic glitter, and it was like, yeah, I had to do it. It was so much fun. I might not do it for every single one. I just was super prepared for this this webinar. So we got the glitter tonight. But thank you all. I love teaching this. It is such a huge part of what I have to offer the world. And yeah, it's been an absolute privilege. I am holding you in my expansive electromagnetic field. So much love to you all. This recording will be sent out to you tomorrow. And yeah. Thank you, Louise. Oh, it was lovely having your glorious energy here too, my love. I hope your children have been well behaved. I was very sneaky and gave mine melatonin, so they went to sleep really well tonight. Super prepared. All right, everybody, thank you. Unless does anybody have any questions? I know a lot of you are my sisters, so you're as deeply immersed into this as I am. But we're actually doing really good for time. I was worried that with the new additional content, I might go over. It was a fun drop in. I was like, ooh, thank you. Just, yeah, it was a huge penny drop moment with having that chaos theory come in. Thank you, beautiful. All right. Let's wrap it up here. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Mwah. See you soon.